Oh my goodness. That is an amazing salad. Hello, YouTube Nation, and welcome back to my kitchen, where anything in cheese is possible. Today, I would love to share with you a recipe surrounding one of my most favorite summertime fruits or melons, watermelon. I absolutely adore watermelon, but sometimes we don't want to eat this alone. We want to put some friends with it. So we're going to make a beautiful salad today. And in this salad, we're going to have fresh mint, fresh cucumber, fresh shallots. We've got some Kalamata olives straight from Greece. And of course, one of my most favorite and quite honestly underrated cheeses out there, feta cheese from Greece. We're gonna throw this all together and make a beautiful, beautiful watermelon and feta salad that's really Greek inspired. And this is gonna be perfect for barbecue if you need to take a side, or take for a picnic, or if you're just looking for a light dinner on hot evenings, this will be perfect for you. Let's get started. Here we are with our first step. We're going to prep this watermelon to get all the good stuff from the inside and get it out into this bowl. So our first step is making sure that we take this beautiful sugar baby watermelon. I like these because they're nice and sweet, and they're gonna go great with a lot of the salty items we're gonna put in there. But the first thing we have to do is we've got to make a couple of flat edges, because I also want to use the watermelon rinds as a serving bowl. Fun little trick. And here's how we're gonna do that. So we're gonna set the watermelon upright, and then I'm gonna slice just a little bit off the side, just like so. Not so much, just this little bit. We'll get rid of that. We don't need it. Because the point is, once we set it down, it's gonna be able to be still. That's the goal we want out of there. Okay, now the other side, we're gonna take another little bit off. There we go. Just a little bit. Get rid of that, we don't need it. Now, we need to take the watermelon and cut it directly in half. Do be careful with this. And of course, when going with a kitchen knife, I'm going with a knife that I love to use, I'm familiar with, and it has a long enough blade to go all the way through the watermelon. So there's less chance really of getting cut. So with a good firm grip, just take the watermelon. You know, you gotta break into the skin, and once you break in the skin, it's really easy to cut through. You kind of see that force that I use. Now we're just gonna go straight down. Nice and easy. Boom. Look at that. To get this beautiful meat out of this watermelon and still preserve a bowl, is I'm gonna take this knife and we're gonna do a crisscross motion in here just to kind of start cutting that watermelon. And I'm gonna try not to go through this rind. It may happen. But here, you see, I'm just going down, making nice cuts. And you see, I'm kind of keeping it a little close together because we're going for cubes. We want to end up with nice bite-sized pieces of watermelon. So here we go. Just a couple more slices in here. And of course, a good ripe watermelon, once you're inside, it should not be hard to cut at all. Now that we've got it going long ways, I'm going to take the blade and we're just going to go in the opposite direction. And you can probably see from my upper angle that nice little cubes are already starting to form. Look at there. Let's just be careful with our hand. And we've got that cut. This reminds me of being young, enjoying watermelon, eating it on the tailgate of my daddy's pickup truck. Some of you may be more sophisticated than that. That's okay. But some of you may remember a similar memory. Okay, now that I've got it crisscrossed, I'm gonna take a good sturdy spoon. I like to get a little metal spoon because again, it gives you a nice angle and sharpness to kind of help get all in this rind. And it may take a couple little pulls to get all that out of there. But you see, I'm just going ahead and almost like a melon baller, I'm taking this spoon through here. Oh, look at that. That is perfect. So I'm just going to put that in the bowl for just a second and continue to dig. You're not going to be able to get it all out in one scoop. If you can, I want to see a video of that because I would be impressed. But here we go. We're just steadily going down. And this is the time to really kind of judge how deep you want to be able to go into this watermelon while still being able to use the rind as a bowl. And look at all that beautiful juice down there too. Whew. I also remember my first taste of watermelon wine. Now, that's probably for a different video, but so delicious, so sweet. So you see, now I've got this beautiful, I'm gonna turn it this way, a beautiful hold out watermelon rind ready to be a bowl. So I'm just gonna set this off to the side and we'll come back to it later. So of course, we've got a whole watermelon, so I'm gonna need to do this twice. Now I'm done with this half, pop it over here, and now we're left with this beautiful bowl of watermelon. We're not done with it yet though. We have to still get some of this watermelon out, and we wanna finish cutting it into bite-sized cubes. So you're gonna wanna go through here. I think these are beautiful little cubes right here. So we wanna just go through this bowl and get some cuts, basically this size. And I think this is great. I think this would be a great opportunity to do a fast forward. All right, now we have the watermelon cubed up into what I would refer to as appropriately bite-sized pieces. You want them big enough also to be able to hold up to a little bit of stirring in the salad. You don't want it too small so it turns to mush. And also you don't want it too big so that it's just giant pieces of watermelon. I feel like this is a perfect size, beautiful for a salad. So I'm just gonna transfer this to the bowl. Then I'm gonna get the rest of my veggies and get to chopping them up. Now that we have beautifully cubed watermelon ready to go, it's time to move on to the next steps. So what I'd like to do next is I'm gonna take this cucumber, which happens to be what's referred to as like a pickling cucumber. And I chose that because it has a little less moisture on the inside and it's less likely to turn to mush when you're going into the watermelon salad. You wanna have a little bit of that firmer, fresh, crisp texture to kind of offset that watermelon. And there's a couple of different cucumber styles you can use. I'm just having to go with this pickling style. Also, it's kind of fresh out of the garden. So of course, we're just gonna get rid of that little end piece there. We don't need that, but I'm gonna go through and just make sure that I get nice thin slices. And you see, they're just bouncing all over the place. I'm not Chef Boyardee over here, but I can get some nice slices. If you have a mandolin, you may wanna go for that. I happen to just like to use a beautifully sharp knife while going through here. But those look like beautiful little slices, right? You know, don't want to get my fingers. And of course, you can see that I am using basically 2 cucumbers. So you'll see that you'll get roughly a couple of cups out of that. And I'm just going to go ahead and marry those 2 together. They want to be together anyway. So cucumber, watermelon, go be together. What are you doing sticking to that knife? Go be together. Then I'm going to go ahead and get my second one. Alrighty, next up is I want to take, now you notice I have several little leaves of fresh mint. And you notice, of course, they're washed. Anything you get out of your garden, you better put a wash to it or you'll have little critters. But a good way to kind of cut this up, because we want to end up with long slivers to go into the salad, I've just rolled it up. Take it right here, roll it. Now don't smoke it. We're gonna want to just cut it and eat it, okay? So in the same vein, nice little thin strips. Don't want to squeeze it too tight, but you'll see here, now once you get that, you're gonna want to break it up a little bit. There we go. So you don't want all that clumped in together, but you have beautiful slices all ready to mix in. Oh, now my hands smell like mint. I feel fancy. Okay, next up, shallot. So let's get that green off there. So a shallot, of course, is pretty much like a little sweet onion in a way. You can use red onions if you want to, but sometimes I find red onions can be really powerful. A shallot's gonna bring it back a little bit. So just like anything else, we're gonna need to get in here, peel this guy back a little bit. Now that we have this open and nice, we're gonna take it and we really wanna just get some small cuts out of here. We don't wanna over onion the salad, but we do want to add some good flavor. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna give a couple of cuts, long ways, all the way over. See that right there? Now, when I'm going in for my cuts, oh, look at there. Beautifully cut shallots. And for me, you could go for a whole shallot. You could put 2 in there if you wanted to. I'm gonna go with half of a shallot. Just because looking at the amount of watermelon I have in there, I feel this is gonna be an appropriate amount of onion flavor for me. You can do what you wanna do though. More than likely, if you're watching this, you're grown. So go ahead. And now we're just gonna pop that. Look at that sprinkling onto that salad. That is so beautiful. So, so beautiful. And again, you can add more if you want to. I just don't feel the need. Okay. Get that straightened up a little bit. Next up, I'm gonna pour in Kalamata olives. So Kalamata olives come from Greece. Again, we're going with a Greek cheese. Kalamata too, if you're looking at these, this is a pitted Kalamata. What it means is, so I'm gonna squeeze that open, that means it has no pit. Olives, of course, have a very hard pit in the center. They do offer whole Kalamatas that you can use to snack on, but for cooking, it's better to go ahead and use these that are already pitted. That way you're not gonna break your teeth. Also, because they're pitted, they may come off a little bit more salty than Kalamatas with pits. If that's the case, then all you need to do is you can rinse them off in a colander with a little bit of cold water to help pull some of that brine off. But Kalamata olives, this is the way to go. That we're gonna add this to the salad. Now this is a big mound, so we're just gonna sprinkle this in here. See how many we need. We may not need all of these. That's okay. And this is a beautiful thing because we're not adding salt to this dish. We may add a little bit, but most of our flavor is gonna come from the salt of the Kalamata as well as the salt with the feta cheese. Now we're gonna add the last solid ingredient because we do have a dressing coming, but we're gonna put in one of my most favorite cheeses in the entire world, feta. I know what you're saying, Nate. You're like, feta? Dude, there's better cheeses than that. Feta, when it's made right and when it's authentic, is one of the most beautiful cheeses in the world. So feta, you'll also see on this package that we have DOP, Designation of Origin Protection. So this means that this is authentic feta, that you can't have real feta without that little symbol. And what that means is for real feta, you'll see that on the ingredients here, you have ewes and goat's milk. Ewe, of course, is a sheep. So sheep and goat milk blend is generally what you're gonna find in an authentic feta from Greece. This is from its homeland. This is where it was born. There are other fetas out there too that are made with cow's milk. Not necessarily a feta. You know, you'll see that a lot in production because cows put out a lot more milk and they make the cheese in a similar way, but without goat or sheep, it's just not the same. Okay, so we're gonna get this open. Easier said than done. A lot of these have a tear tab, but if you're like me and have fumbling fingers, sometimes it's hard to tear into the tab, so I'll cut into it. Alrighty, so now we have this beautiful sheep and goat milk blended feta. Oh goodness, that smells so wonderful. And look, when you crack that open, oh, that is beautiful feta. For this salad, we're gonna go ahead and cube this up, and I'm gonna use the whole block. I love feta, so I'm gonna use this whole thing. And you see here again, going for more bite-sized pieces, but you can tell like feta is also gonna crumble. Speaking of crumble feta, just buy a chunk of feta. You know how easy it is to crumble feta? Look, I just crumbled feta. You can do it at home. Whole chunks are gonna last longer for you, and actually, they're gonna be more authentic. Yeah, so I always suggest to go ahead and buy not only feta, but all cheeses in chunks and shred, grate, and crumble yourself. Beautiful. So you'll see these, they're kind of big, but I know that when I stir this salad in a minute, that they're gonna crumble up even more. So we're just gonna add this, and then we're gonna move on to our salad dressing. It's time now to wrap this salad up, and a salad would not be complete without a little bit of dressing. So this is an easy dressing we're gonna put together. Here I've got lime juice, about 1/4 cup, and everything else is gonna be about 2 teaspoons. So I've got olive oil, stone ground mustard, mayonnaise, and some great honey. I just wanna call them out. B2B honey. They're out of Houston. Beautiful, beautiful honey producer. We love this stuff, but try to go local, raw, any great honey that you have will work. Okay, so of course, we've just got to start by putting all of our ingredients in here. I like to start with the mayonnaise and the mustard, and then we're gonna drizzle that honey on there. My goodness, beautiful. Let's get all that honey. Yeah, we need all that honey in there. Then we're going to put in our lime juice. Just pouring that in. Look at that. Okay, probably done with this little spoon. And then we're just gonna give this a nice whisk before we put that olive oil in to bring it all together. So all those ingredients are mixed. Now for our olive oil, slowly add that. Look at there, I wish I was a better pourer, but you know, I'm a pretty good eater. maybe that'll count, I don't know. But here we go, we got that slowly whisked in. Beautiful little dressing here. Now what we want to do, we've got to marry all of these beautiful ingredients here. So we're just gonna take our dressing, and of course I like to keep it nice and mixed up while we pour it all on our salad. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be so good. Now we just need to get this all mixed up. So it's gonna crumble a little bit, like the cheese and the watermelon, they're gonna crumble just a little bit, so we don't wanna over stir it, but we wanna get it nice and mixed up. If you're like me, this is where you need an apron because I'm kind of messy. All right, look at that, all that watermelon's coming up to the top. Okay, now the last thing that's gonna be able to bring it all together, of course, we're gonna do some fresh cracked pepper. You can add salt if you want to, but quite honestly, between the Kalamata olives and the feta, you should have enough salt in this salad. You may just wanna punch it up with, and yes, I'm doing a lot of black pepper. I love pepper. Look at that, okay. So now that we've got that done, another little mix. So beautiful, so yummy. Oh my, oh, that's nice stuff. That's so beautiful, so nice. And of course, it wouldn't be quite presentable unless we pop a little bit of this into our serving bowl. Look at there. Great fun way to serve your feta watermelon salad at your BBQ or your picnic, whatever kind of gathering you have. You know, I wouldn't judge you if you sat and ate all this by yourself. You don't have to share it with anybody, but it'd make you a lot nicer if you did. Beautiful. There we go. So now we have, I like to put a little bit of cheese on top. So we have that. Looky here, people. We have an amazing watermelon feta salad. If you want to kick it up a little bit more, you can add a little sprig of fresh leaves to give it a little bit of a pop. Then, of course, I got to dig into my drawers just a little bit. We're going to put a little of that watermelon with this feta. Oh my God, I want to get all of this. Are you ready for this? I think I'm ready for this. Oh my goodness. That is an amazing salad. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I'm about to enjoy eating this entire half a watermelon full of salad. This is so amazing and so beautiful. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you for every time you join me. If you use this recipe at home, please do me a favor, pop it up on social media, give it that hashtag, Nathan's Cheese Kitchen, and that way I'll know what you're doing and we can interact. If you also want to interact, please make sure to leave me a comment on my page. Like, share, comment. Let me know if there's other recipes that you would like to see, and I'd be happy to do that for you. And don't forget to hit that little bitty bell icon. That way you'll get a notification sent to you every time I put out a new video. Thank you so much, and have a great, great day. Those are beautiful chunks. Look at that. I did a good job. I did a good job.
You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy.
I did a good job.